Good morning, class 12th. I am Arun Sharma, and here I am telling you about the Indian economy on the eve of independence. This is a chapter in the Indian economic development. This is the second book in the 12th syllabus, right? So, the very first chapter in the book is Indian economy on the eve of independence. So, in this chapter, what we are covering, you all know that India was very prosperous country before the British rule. ठीक है, आप लोग जानते हैं कि इसको सोने की चिड़िया भी कहा जाता था, right? Golden bird. But as the Britishers came, the situation of the economy of the country, day by day, declining. And at the last, when they left the India, they left it like an infant baby, right? Which cannot do anything, just like a verse of collapse. It is about to collapse. But how this happened and in which way they all capable of doing this, that are the things we are telling you now, right? So first of all, what was the primary objective of the British rule in India? What was the primary objective? वो किस पर्पस से यहाँ पर आए थे? So the first purpose was they wanted to turn India as a supplier of raw material because they found it very easy that India is a resourceful country. It is very rich in the minerals and other wealth, right? At that time, they established the industries in the Britain, and to feed those industries in the Britain which are set up, they want the raw material. They found India as a source of raw material, right? So they can feed their industries. Secondly, when the products were produced in those industries, they also want it to be a ready market that where they can sell the things, right? So they found reversely India as a ready market for their finished goods. So this was a twin motive. These are a double motive of the British rule to came in India, that they turn the India as a supplier of the raw material and also the consumer of the finished goods which are produced in the Britain, right? Now, how they achieve this objective? And I'm telling about this thing. Before that, I want to tell you that what was the condition, what was the growth rate or the condition of Indian economy pre-independent situation. Pre-independent means when the British left the country. Over almost 200 years they ruled here, and what they did during the whole British regime, what they did, the growth rate of the real GDP was only 2%. It was nearly about 2%. Today, as you listen, oftenly that India's growth rate is 5%, 6%, 7% and near about this. But at that time it was only 2%. You can estimate, you can have an idea that it was very minimal, nothing much. Also, the growth rate of per capita income. Per capita income means the average income. It means if the total national income is divided by the number of people, population of the country, it becomes the per capita income, right? Average income. It was only 0.5%. Very miserable condition. Very miserable. 0.5% growth rate of the per capita income. You can understand what was worsened the condition of the Indian economy at that time, right? Now, move to the next topic. The conditions. कंडीशन आपको बता दी मैंने, ये कंडीशंस थी, बट व्हाई आर द कंडीशंस, क्यों थी ऐसी कंडीशंस? तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट द ऑक्यूपेशनल स्ट्रक्चर एट द टाइम ऑफ ब्रिटिश रूल. Here I have drawn a pie chart and try to understand with the help of this pie chart. Most of the population was engaged in the agriculture sector. 70%, almost 70%, or you can say more than 70% population was engaged in the agriculture sector. It is a sign of backwardness itself. If we compare with the developed countries, most of the population is not engaged in the agriculture sector, right? This was also a sign of backwardness. Anyway, it was a primary occupational of the Indian economy at that time. Industries were was in the very infant stage. बहुत बड़ी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री उस टाइम सेटअप नहीं हो पाई थी, राइट? तो द शेयर ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर इज वाज ओनली 10% इन द एम्प्लॉयमेंट सेक्टर, राइट? एंड द सर्विस सेक्टर वाज ओनली 20%. इट मीन्स सर्विस जो हमारी अलाइड एक्टिविटीज थी, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, कम्युनिकेशन, ऑल दिस थिंग्स, बैंकिंग का तो उस टाइम बहुत ही नामो निशान भी नहीं था कहीं. तो इस तरह से हमारा जो सर्विस सेक्टर का जो शेयरिंग था वो कितना था, 20%. सो दिस पाई चार्ट you can make it clear that the primary occupation of the Indian economy or the people of India was agriculture only, right? Now, if I am saying that Indian economy is very declined position, ठीक है, बहुत बुरी कंडीशन में थी, तो इसके लिए मेन रीजन भी इसका एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर होना चाहिए, राइट? So what happened with the agriculture sector and why the agriculture sector was so backward and why the people engaged in the agriculture sector are not getting much income? ठीक है, now I am telling you these things, that what were the reasons behind the backwardness or the poor state of agriculture at that time. The agriculture, firstly I am defining you, verifying some points. What was the state of the agriculture at that time? Actually, the agriculture was in a very stagnant stage. Stagnance means nothing to move, which is not, you can say it is standstill. Okay? So, what were the conditions that the agriculture was backward and the stagnant situation? But why was that condition? क्यों थी वो condition? So, it was due to the very low productivity. Productivity means the per hectare production of the agriculture was very low, miserably low. If we compare with the other countries, developed countries, it was extremely low, negligible almost, right? That's why the agriculture was stagnant at that time. The second thing is use of the older techniques, conventional techniques. The farmers was not ready to introduce the new modern methods. Actually, I am telling you one point, very important point, that during the whole British regime, Britishers did nothing intentionally to improve the agricultural sector for the welfare or the development of the agriculture. No irrigation system was developed, ठीक है? No HIV seeds were introduced. None of the any technology was introduced at that time for the improvement of the agriculture, right? So people or the farmers were, you can say, they were forced. They are already compelled due to the conditions that they cannot use the modern technique because they have not introduced even that. So how can you use the things? जब तक वो कोई मशीन आएगी नहीं, कोई टेक्नोलॉजी मार्केट में आएगी नहीं, तो आप उसको यूज कैसे करेंगे, राइट? So this was the reason. The most important and the very dominating factor in the agricultural state was the zamindari system. Listen very carefully this point. Zamindari system. Actually, the Britishers was very, you can say they were the very cunning people. Clever also, but they were cunning people. They introduced a system of revenue collection that was known as the zamindari system. And what was the system? In this system, three parties are involved. First is the farmers, second is the British government, and third were the zamindars. British government found that zamindars were very, they want to live the lavish life irrespective of the conditions of the farmers or the land. So they give the advances to the zamindars, and in return they signed up a condition that whatever will be the produce of the land, they will take as a revenue, and as much as they require, जितना वो चाहें उतना एज अ टैक्स वो उससे ले सकते हैं जमींदार से, राइट? एंड द जमींदार वर फ्री टू appropriate any amount as a tax revenue. यानी अपने जमींदार जो है अपने किसानों से जितना चाहे उतना टैक्स वसूल कर सकता है, और ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने अपने लिए एक फिक्स अमाउंट फिक्स कर लिया जमींदारों से, राइट. अब दिस सिचुएशन वर्सन द कंडीशन ऑफ द फार्मर्स. हाउ? द जमींदार्स आर वेरी क्रूअल. दे फॉर द प्रॉफिट मोटिव या सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड, they derive as much as possible from the farmers as a revenue. Farmers was left just on the mercy of the zamindars, right. The second attack was done by the commercialization of the farming. What the British did that time, they give the advances to the zamindars, and in return they said that the crop which was produced in the farmland was that they were told by the Britishers want that crop will be produced in the farmland. ठीक है. अब these are the crops were cash crops. Cash crops means the crops which can be directly sell to the market. They were not meant for the consumption purpose directly, right. Actually, at that time, the British government, the industries were set up in the Britain, textile industry, and for that purpose, they want the bleaching powder like things. You can say Robin Blue या Indigo जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं, कपड़ों में नील लगाने का काम आता है, right? तो वो सब चीजें चाहिए उनको. They take the advantage of the zamindar system, ठीक है, and they give the advances to the zamindar, and after that they compel the farmers to produce indigo, cotton and these type of cash crops in the farmland. What was the result? When the food crops are produced in the farms, at least the farmers get something to eat, but the cash crops are not able to eat directly. So the condition become more worse at that time for the farmers. So this was the whole reason that the agriculture sector become very backward, and the farmers were just left on the mercy of zamindars, right. The similar are the conditions for the foreign trade and the industries also. First, I am taking out the foreign trade. In the foreign trade sector, the whole picture of the Indian foreign trade was reversed during the British regime. Before the British rule, India was very prosperous country. Especially it exports the spices, cotton, silk and etc. and many things, handicraft etc. To the worldwide. But what happened when the British came here? For fulfilling these two purposes, they prepare a tariff policy. And what was the tariff policy? That if anything is exported to Britain, that were tax free. Anything exported to Britain that were tax free. If anything imported from Britain, that was also tax free. Anything, it means the finished goods imported from the Britain, that was tax free. But if any other thing, any finished goods was exported to any other country in the world except Britain, heavy tax is imposed on that. So what was the result of this tax policy? Let us discuss. The whole of the raw material was exported to the Britain. That was tax free. It means Britain is getting cheaper raw material for their industry. Now the things were imported from the Britain were also tax free. So what happened that? What was the result? The result that most of the things imported from Britain only rather than the other countries, because they were cheaper, they were tax free. Right? In this way, Britain also gets the ready market in the India for their British made industries. Two purposes are solved. And what was the third point? Third effect, monopoly control over the British. The whole, almost you can say more than 50% of the foreign trade were controlled by the Britain in this way. Import of the finished goods and export of the primary products, any raw material. Right? You can understand, if the more than 50% जो foreign trade is transacted through the Britain, it means the profit was also derived by the Britain, but not a single penny was spent on the India's development. Out of that profit, the profit was only used for the army establishments or the development of the industry set up in the Britain. Not a single penny was spent in the Indian development, right? So this was the condition of foreign trade. Similar were the condition of the industries also. Britishers were very clever and to know if we want to control over the India, its industries should be demolished, should be destroyed. उन्हें खत्म करना ही पड़ेगा, because किसी भी इकोनॉमी पर कब्जा करने के लिए आपको इकोनॉमिकली वीक भी करना पड़ता है, right? And what they did for that purpose? They systematically deindustrialized all the industries, all of the industries, right? Mainly, they destroyed the handicraft industry. India's handicraft are very famous in the world. Okay, many of the things, handicrafts, sculptures, paintings, and the things were exported in the other countries worldwide. But Britishers firstly attacked on the handicrafts and they stopped the handicraft industries. Right? In this way, जो existing industries थी उन्हें यहाँ से destroy कर दिया गया. And on the other hand, modern industries were in the infant stage. Only fewer you can count on the fingers. Tata and Birlas, these are mainly two business house. They established some industries there, textile industry, railways were introduced at that time, right? Paper mill started was that time. Some sugar mills also started, but they was not in the much quantity. They were in the infant stage. So this was the picture of the occupational structure, foreign trade, agriculture, and the industries. Now, the next two topics were also there. I am discussing now. Up to the demographic profile and the infrastructure and the positive impact of the British rule. That was the last topic. Now, demographic profile means the conditions of the people living in the country. What are the conditions of the people living in the country? It means their social life, the economic life was the situation of the economic at that time. Now, the points already highlights the backwardness of the economy as far as the demographic conditions are concerned. First of all, high birth rate and a high death rate. Both the rates, birth rate and death rate, was very high because people was not aware about the small families or the family planning and all these things, right? It was very high. Literacy rate was extremely low. It was only, I'm telling you, it was only 16% at that time and miserably low in the female sector. Only 7% female were educated or literate at that time. Not educated, literate only. There is a difference between literacy and the education. So the literacy rate was only 16% and out of that 7% was the female. Only 7%. The infant mortality rate, IMR means infant mortality rate, it was very high. It was 218 per thousand. यानी 1000 बच्चों में से 218 बच्चे एक साल की उम्र से पहले ही खत्म हो जाते थे, मर जाते थे. ठीक है, it is only 44 now, right? The life expectancy was very low at that time. It was only 32. Any average life of the people living at that time was 32 years only. Now it is more than 68. What was the reason? Now the medical facilities are improved. Now many vaccines are introduced which check the deadly disease like the cholera, malaria, and these things. Okay. So that was the condition at that time, demographic conditions. Next topic is the infrastructure. Intentionally, Britishers did nothing to improve the infrastructure for the welfare of the economy or the welfare of the Indian people. Okay, but they introduced some good things. Okay, like roads. The all-weather roads were not established at that time, not prepared that time, but some of the roads like GT road was manufactured by the Britishers at that time. Road network was improved slightly, but what was the purpose? That's what I will tell you later. Water transport was also introduced. Some harbors, some ports are introduced, established at that time. ठीक है, you can understand what was the reason behind that. They want the smooth movement of the goods and raw material from the Britain and to the Britain, right? For that purpose, the water transport was improved. For the approaching the interior regions in the India, they introduced the roads, improved the roads, and also introduced the railways. For the development of the railways, there is a secondary purpose also. They want to improve their administration. For the fast movement of the army, railways were introduced. That if there some revolt is evoked somewhere, the army can be shifted easily there, faster, right? For the faster movement of the army only. Communication was also developed, but the main purpose is behind the improving the communication system was to improve the law and order, so that faster communication can be done through the telegraph or the post, right? These were the, you can say, the development was done in the sector of infrastructure, but only for their own sake, not for the welfare of the Indian people. But some positive impacts were also drawn by the Indians by all the activities done by Britishers. What was they? First of all, administration. They definitely left a effective legacy of administration. How an economy can be run, can be administered, can be controlled through a effective administrative system. Okay? It means you can say the law and order, the laws prepared by the Britishers can be used as a ready reckoner of the Indian Constitution, right? The second one is education system. You are surprised that English medium system was introduced by the Britishers here. The education system was improved, definitely improved, right? The purpose behind this, whatever be the purpose, but Indians were benefited by that. The last one is railways. The main purpose of the railways was that they want to improve their army movement. They want to improve their army movement. But what happened? When the people move in the masses from one place to another, from one region to another region, right? They exchange their cultural. Okay? It means the cultural affinity was also improved. Their जो हमारी फ्रीडम मूवमेंट थी उसको एक सपोर्ट बहुत अच्छा मिला. ठीक है, आइडियाज़ एक्सचेंज होना शुरू हुए. सो these are the positive impacts of the British rule here. So here I am ending this chapter, and I hope आप लोगों को पूरा टॉपिक समझ आया होगा. If still there any problem, you can ask me on the WhatsApp number. Thank you. Have a nice day.